MS13, also known as Mara Salvatrucha, is a notorious and highly violent gang that has gained a reputation for its brutality and deadly hitmen. The gang originated in the barrios of Los Angeles during the 1980s, where Salvadoran immigrants fleeing the Civil War in their country met other immigrants from Honduras, Guatemala, and Mexico. They formed a gang called the Mara Salvatrucha, with Mara being slang for gang, Salva standing for El Salvador, and Trucha meaning street gang. The number 13 represents the position of the letter M in the alphabet. Hello everyone, and welcome to another video. Today we'll be looking at inside the life of MS13's Deadliest Hitmen. Yeah, you heard it right. Despite its origins as a community of Hispanic immigrants looking out for each other, MS13 quickly gained a reputation for extreme violence and machete murders. It is now considered one of the world's most feared organized crime groups, having spread to 46 states according to the FBI. MS13 is more violent and ruthless than even the Mexican, Colombian, or Italian mafias. The gang was particularly active during the 12-year Civil War in El Salvador, ravaging the country with indiscriminate violence. However, even after the war ended, the gang continued to grow, and its deadly hitmen have become infamous for their brutal tactics. It's a tragic reality that MS13 maintains its high level of brutality by preying on poor, vulnerable teenagers from backgrounds of petty crime and drug addiction. These teens often end up in MS13 instead of receiving the support and assistance they need to overcome their difficult upbringings. Regardless of age, joining MS13 requires being jumped in, which involves enduring a brutal 13-second beating followed by carrying out a crime, usually a murder, to prove loyalty to the gang. Leaving MS13 is extremely challenging, as members are branded for life with large tattoos on their chests. This makes it easy for the gang to identify and kill anyone who tries to leave. The expansion of MS13 brought the gang back to its home countries of El Salvador and Honduras. The Central Criminal Court of San Salvador is a common destination for MS13 members, either as prisoners or as corpses. After the El Salvador Civil War, a new war began between MS13 and the 18th Street Gang, which is so violent that it was almost indistinguishable from the Civil War. One notable figure from this time was Ernesto Miranda, also known as Smokey. Smokey began his journey as a soldier in the Civil War, but he fled to Los Angeles, where he found himself in the midst of street gang wars. Smokey rallied fellow immigrants from El Salvador to establish MS13, which later became an international threat involved in drug trafficking, prostitution, weapons dealing, and murder. In 2004, the FBI caught wind of Smokey's illegal activities and deported him back to El Salvador. Smokey appeared to start fresh, studying law and building a family with a young daughter under his roof. He even made it his mission to protect vulnerable teens from MS13's grasp. Sadly, at age 38, Smokey was murdered after declining an invitation to a fellow MS13 member's prison release party. This senseless death was explained only by the cruelty he once instilled in his sicarios. It's important to note that Lenny Escobar, also known as La Diablita, proves that one should not judge people based on their appearance. In 2017, 5 boys made gang signs on social media while drunk, but they were not part of any gang. However, MS13 saw this as a sign of rivalry and associated the boys with their rivals. Lenise, who worked for MS13 in Long Island and was the girlfriend of a soldier, wanted to prove herself and do the initiation, which involved murdering someone for the gang. She lured the boys to a park where MS13 members ambushed them, and she and a few others hacked the boys with machetes. It recalls a harrowing night under a full moon when only 1 out of the 5 survived, as he was chased by gangsters shouting, "Hack him!" Lenny's Escobar was eventually arrested and charged with murder conspiracy to commit murder. Despite being charged with tearing and racketeering while still underage, La Diablita shockingly pleaded not guilty. However, on April 11, 2022, there was a verdict. Our hearts go out to the families of the victims. We know that the verdict does not erase the pain you wake up with every day. The announcement said Lenise was found guilty of all charges and will likely spend the rest of her life behind bars. Her family wants everyone to know that Lenise's story is a classic MS13 tragedy. She was a vulnerable teen who was groomed from an early age and pushed to do the unthinkable. Her difficult life without a father or mother and filled with abuse is a sad reminder that some of MS13's deadliest members come from terrible backgrounds where violence is all they know. In 2004, the Honduran government considered reintroducing the death penalty in response to gang violence, but this only angered MS13 further. They organized a mass killing on a bus filled with women and children just before Christmas Day. The gang members rained fire on the bus and killed anyone who wasn't hit by the bullets from close up using their sicarios. Juan Bautista Jimenez, one of the most prized hitmen in the notorious gang MS-13, held a top position within the organization. In MS-13, the more brutal and feared you are, the higher you rise in the ranks. Jimenez's reputation had become so notorious that authorities launched a long and complicated operation to capture him. Finally, in 2007, Jimenez was apprehended and imprisoned. However, the news of his arrest caused a significant uproar on national news, which put MS-13 in the spotlight. The leaders of the organization didn't appreciate the attention, and Jimenez, a once prized army commander, was assassinated inside his cell by his own men. So that's all for today's video. If you enjoyed it, remember to leave a like, subscribe, and ring that bell icon so that you never miss our upcoming videos. And don't forget to share your thoughts in the comments section down below. Stay tuned, and we'll catch you in the next video.